Streaming a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and really delighted to welcome back my friend Dakarai Larriett, who has a very special announcement for us here. And before we get to his announcement, let me just say this. Last week, there were so many people that were so proud to see Senator Cory Booker on the floor of the United States Senate for 25 hours and 5 minutes. He now holds the record for the longest filibuster on the floor of the United States Senate. And there were so many disillusioned Americans, Democrat, Republican, Independent, that were left with a little shot of inspiration. And the announcement that Dakarai is about to share builds off of that moment. For folks who are looking for what to do next, looking for where to go, looking for leaders to follow, leaders that are going to defend Medicaid from dramatic cuts and so many other issues that are important to everyday people, I want you to really turn up your volume and listen to what Dakarai has to say. Dakarai, take it away.
Hey, well, it is so nice to see you again, Dr. Quartey. Happy birthday, and it is an honor to be back on the show.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to have you back on the show, and it's an honor to have you here doing the thing that we say every single episode: do what you can from where you are with what you have. And in that spirit, Dakarai, tell the people what you're doing.
Well, I just couldn't take it anymore, Dr. Quartey. I just saw the dysfunction happening in Washington, all the partisan games, particularly with our current representation in the U.S. Senate here in Alabama. And I'm a business owner. I have family and friends that are on Medicaid that depend upon these programs. I volunteer for Meals on Wheels, and just thinking about the seniors at home and the idea that maybe next week we'll lose funding and I can't deliver their meals. I was sick of it, and I said, you know what? I need to be the change that I want to see. And for that reason, I am announcing that I'm running for the United States Senate to represent the great state of Alabama.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations. That is a very big deal. That is a very tall order, running for the United States Senate in Alabama. Look, we have seen folks run for the United States Senate against great odds. I'm thinking of former Alabama U.S. Senator Doug Jones,
Yes.
who made a little bit of history there. But he didn't do it by himself.
It takes a coalition.
Talk to us about the coalition that you're building in Alabama to give the people of Alabama a real choice this next election and who they send back to represent them in the United States Senate.
Well, I have been on the phones with real Alabamians for the last 2 months and listening to their pain points and speaking to different constituent groups. So I spent a couple days talking to teachers. My mother is a public school teacher, talking to people up in Huntsville impacted by the cuts that are coming to NASA, talking to folks who work at UAB, where I was born, by the way, impacted by the research cuts. So what I'm seeing, Dr. Quartey, is we are not a red state. I would not characterize us in that regard at all. There is so much pent-up anger and frustration with what's been happening the last couple of months. On Saturday, I went out to be a part of the demonstrations and the resistance in the park, actually where I walk my dog. So this is real. Up and down the state, people are expressing their concerns about this administration and their desire for new voices, pragmatic voices that want to work for them.
I really appreciate you really giving us a lay of the land across the state of Alabama. I think there are a number of folks who are maybe less familiar with the politics of the region and certainly the politics of that state, where because it is so reliably red, I think there are a number of folks who may write it off. And so help our leaders, learners, and listeners understand why you believe you have a real shot at winning this United States Senate seat in deep red Alabama?
There are so many different ways to get to our win number, which I'm kind of holding close to the vest, but I'll give you a couple hints. For starters, you mentioned Doug Jones at the beginning. We know those votes exist. These are no nonsense, common sense voters who just want the best for the state and they don't want to be embarrassed in Washington by their representatives. So that is there. Then our participation rate is so low. In midterms, sometimes we get into the 30s if we're lucky, and we're going to slice and dice that and get into the demographics that show up. But here's a hint, the folks that look like me are underrepresented in that vote number. So we have a real opportunity to get young folks out, to get them engaged, to let them see themselves in a candidate that has lived their life, that's had those experiences that will serve them in the Senate. And you know the story of my false arrest last year, Dr. Quartey. How many young people have experienced that and want someone to speak to how we make the justice system work for everyone, not just the moneyed people and not just the politically connected?
That sounds like a pretty aggressive agenda, but it also sounds like an agenda that really touches on the hopes and dreams and aspirations of so many folks across Alabama. I also appreciate your mention of the impact of these mass layoffs and these federal cuts. I think there are a lot of people, when they think of the federal government, they just think about Washington, D.C., or they might think of the DMV area, but the reality is the majority of federal workers live outside of Washington, D.C. You pointed out the cuts to NASA, the cuts to research centers, the cuts to higher education in Alabama. Talk to us about what it is that people want you to do about it. Do they think that a U.S. senator on their side can make a difference?
Absolutely. And there are many roles that a senator can play. Now, of course, the basics, legislation and the votes, but who do you want on your side when we're talking about Doge cuts? Who do you think is going to fight for a justice system that protects everyone, that provides due process? You know, we've heard about these roundups happening with ICE. I know what not getting due process feels like. So we have a real opportunity to get a senator into Washington that has had the lived experience, that has built a business from the ground up, that's worked through corporate America, that's been laid off through corporate America. A real human experience that represents Alabama.
Yeah, Dakarai, I'm going to give you our final 30 seconds. Where can people go to tap in to be a part of the movement that you are building in Alabama to return some normalcy?
Yeah.
If we can even call it that. More importantly, make government work for everyday Alabamans. Where can people go to support you and learn more?
Well, to respond to that, normalcy is the baseline. We want to see some progress here and see Alabama, lift up from education to our health scores, obviously better, higher paying jobs. And folks can learn about me at DakaraILarriett.com. Just Google me and the platforms are there. My life story is there. And I'm so excited to take on this opportunity to represent the United States and Alabama in particular.
Dakarai Larriett, that's Dakarai Larriett, Larriett. Dakarai Larriett is running for the United States Senate in the great state of Alabama. You all might remember Dakarai was on our show flirting with the idea during the holiday season. He has made a final decision and he is off to the races. Our thanks to you, Dakarai. Please come back again soon and give us an update on the race.
Will do. Thank you so much, Dr. Quartey.
Thank you. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.